Have you ever had one of those days or maybe one of those long, grinding weeks where you just feel completely overwhelmed by life?
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody knows that exact feeling.
Right. You know it. You're anxious about your job, you're frustrated by the constant hustle, or maybe you feel deeply cheated by someone you trusted.
Or you're just looking around at the endless conflicts in the world and feeling this heavy sense of despair.
Exactly. It's such a universally human experience. And we usually just, you know, chalk it up to bad luck, right? Or maybe we blame our brain chemistry reacting to modern stress.
Sure, yeah. That's the standard explanation.
But imagine for a second that all of those feelings, the anxiety, the frustration, the pure exhaustion, aren't accidents at all. What if those afflictions are the direct result of a literal cosmic computer program that you unknowingly downloaded into your life?
It's wild because it completely shatters the way we usually frame the human experience.
It really does.
Right, because if you adopt that perspective, suddenly your terrible day at the office isn't just a bad day. It's a symptom of a much larger systemic architecture.
Yeah.
You aren't just stressed out, you are actually operating on malicious code.
That is the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
We're exploring a highly philosophical, deeply intriguing worldview today in this deep dive, crafted by a thinker named Feng.
Right, and he lays out this philosophy in a piece with a title that practically grabs you by the collar.
Oh, absolutely. It's called Check If You Are Following the Road of Devils. And I want to set the stage for you listening right now. We are acting purely as impartial guides here to explore this concept.
Yeah, that's really important to establish right up front.
The goal isn't to endorse this theology or push any specific religious viewpoints. We are just here to examine the fascinating ideas in this philosophy because, well, whether you buy into the premise or not, it absolutely forces you to look at your daily mundane routine in a completely different light. Okay, let's unpack this.
To really understand this, we have to start with the root cause of that hypothetical anxiety you just mentioned.
The malicious code.
Exactly. In this worldview, if you have been cheated, bullied, blackmailed, or if you just feel a general friction with life, it is a feature, not a bug.
Oh, wow. So it's intentional.
Right. Feng paints a picture where all of this suffering is the direct work of what he calls the devil's program. And it's happening because you, along with most of the people around you, are walking on the road of devils.
You know, when I hear the phrase the devil's program, my brain immediately defaults to a horror movie aesthetic.
Yeah, totally.
I'm picturing Faustian bargains, dark alleys, spooky rituals at midnight, you know.
Pitchforks and fire, right?
Exactly. But the mechanics of this program, as laid out here, aren't spooky at all. It's
Yeah.
actually incredibly mundane. This philosophy suggests the program operates simply by tempting you with the most basic human desires.
Right. Wealth, fame, position, power, and comfort.
And the really radical part is how that temptation functions.
Right. Yeah, because this malicious code doesn't lure you into some criminal underworld. It lures you into the most standard, universally celebrated societal structures we have.
Right.
So Feng specifically lists the traps of this program as marriage, family, nations, political parties, religions, businesses, and cultivation groups.
Wait, hold on. Cultivation groups. That stands out from the rest of the list. What does that actually mean in this context?
Yeah, it's a concept that usually refers to intense spiritual communities or monastic groups. You see them a lot in Taoist or Buddhist traditions.
Okay.
It's where people practice certain disciplines to achieve enlightenment or self-perfection.
So like highly devoted spiritual seekers.
Exactly. And what's wild is that this philosophy groups those spiritual seekers right alongside Wall Street bankers and political zealots.
That is a wild grouping.
Right. The idea is that the devil's program traps us by making us rack our brains, rush about, take huge risks, and ultimately harm others or nature just to serve these everyday institutions.
I mean, I am really trying to wrap my head around the scale of that claim.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding this right, the devil's program isn't a demonic possession. It's the 9-to-5 grind.
Yeah.
It's the corporate ladder, the white picket fence, the patriotic duty to your country.
That's exactly it.
It is incredibly subversive to frame universally accepted goals, the things society tells us make us good, responsible people, as a cosmic virus.
What's fascinating here is how this framework completely recontextualizes our drive for personal, familial, or national interests.
How so?
Well, the logic operates like this. The moment you draw a circle around yourself and say, I must protect and elevate my family, my country, my company, my spiritual group, You have created an in-group and an out-group.
Hey,
And in this cosmology, that very drive is the mechanism that makes people cheat each other through sheer cunning or grab at each other's throats.
so it's the division itself that's the
Correct.
trap.
The pursuit of those seemingly noble, localized interests is precisely what generates the overarching misery in the world.
It's a systemic critique of tribalism, but elevated to a cosmic level.
Exactly.
But, if I follow that thread, I hit a massive logical wall pretty quickly.
Okay, what's the wall?
Well, if this program is so destructive, and if it's causing all this cheating and misery, why does the greatest creator, which, just for the listener, is the term used here for the ultimate divine force, why allow it?
Right, that's the big question.
Like, if this is a rogue operating system causing so much suffering, where is the cosmic IT department? Why not just uninstall it?
That is the million-dollar question, truly. And to answer it, we have to look at the underlying cosmology of Shui-Feng's universe.
Right.
It hinges on a concept called the unity of opposites. The argument is that the universe operates on a strict, unbreakable law of balance.
Meaning, everything needs a counterweight.
Exactly. Superior needs inferior. Up needs down. Bright needs dark. Leaders need the masses. And, most importantly for this discussion, heaven needs hell.
So it's describing a literal zero-sum universe. The sum of positive energy and negative energy always has to equal zero. Everything has to be symmetrical, yin and yang, gain and loss.
It is pure cosmic calculus. If you have a higher order of life, by definition, you must have a lower order of life to serve it.
Right.
This philosophy points out that humans rely on animals and plants to survive. The lower spaces serve the higher spaces. For the universe to function at all, for what Shui-Feng calls the great drama of the universe to even be staged, there has to be a sorting mechanism that filters life forms into these different hierarchical categories.
There is an analogy used in the text to explain this cosmic balance of positive and negative energy that I have to bring it up because it is so incredibly visceral.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
And honestly, it's a little blunt. It compares this dynamic to human digestion.
Yeah, it's very blunt.
It essentially argues that the balance of heaven and hell is just like a person for whom eating and drinking form necessary opposites with defecation.
It is a striking image, but it perfectly illustrates the structural necessity of the ugly or negative parts of a system. You cannot have a living, breathing, consuming entity without waste.
They complement each other.
Right. From a structural standpoint, without the devil's program, this worldview argues the universe would be listless and pale. It would completely lose its vitality.
Because there'd be no movement, no processing.
Exactly. The program is the sorting mechanism. If someone is going to heaven, the cosmic math dictates that someone else must go to hell to maintain the equilibrium.
Which completely flips my understanding of the guy running that sorting mechanism.
Oh, Satan.
Yeah, because if negative energy is a structural, mathematical necessity for the universe to even exist, the role of the being in charge of all that negative energy completely changes.
Let's go.
Here's where it gets really interesting. This framework basically gives Satan a total rebrand.
It absolutely does. In this cosmology, Satan is not an evil, malicious rebel who fell from grace just to spite the Creator. He is explicitly described as a deity. He's an archangel. The chief angel, in fact.
And honestly, he sounds exhausted. He is described as toiling to maintain that zero-sum balance.
Yeah, he's a very busy guy.
I kept picturing this version of Satan as an overworked, highly despised middle manager in a massive corporate restructuring, or maybe like a nightclub bouncer.
I like the bouncer analogy.
Right. He is burdened with this terrible reputation. He's universally hated by humanity, yet he is serving the life of the whole universe by doing the dirty work that the cosmic math requires. He's just standing at the door, enforcing the capacity limits, and everyone despises him for it.
The bouncer analogy works perfectly. A bouncer isn't kicking you out because he's fundamentally evil or has a personal vendetta against you.
No, he's just doing his job.
Exactly. He's just enforcing the rules of the venue. Satan, in this text, must deliver life forms to the lower order of life to balance the scales.
What I find so jarring and kind of brutal, really, is how this version of Satan views the people he's dragging down.
Yes, his attitude is very specific.
If you walk the devil's road, Satan doesn't welcome you with open arms. He isn't celebrating your arrival, doing an evil laugh.
Not at all.
Instead, he looks at you and essentially says, "What an ignorant fool you are."
If we connect this to the bigger picture, think about the immense psychological weight of that idea. The devil isn't actively hunting you down out of malice. He's managing a passive system, a trap that you walked right into because you couldn't resist the bait of money or fame or earthly attachments.
And he's just watching you do it to yourself.
Right. He actually pities your lack of awareness.
Sure.
It forces you, as the reader, to deeply question your own agency in your suffering. You aren't a victim of evil. You are a victim of your own ignorance regarding how the universe's math works.
Okay, so the stakes are literally cosmic. The universe needs a lower order. Satan is the bouncer sending people there. And the trap is our own earthly desires.
That's the setup.
So how do you know if you're on the guest list for the lower order? How does anyone know if they're actually walking this road right now?
Well, Shufeng doesn't leave you guessing.
Thank goodness.
He provides a literal 18-point checklist to diagnose yourself.
Yes, the 18 checkpoints. And to make this digestible for the listeners, let's group them together because they range from the incredibly obvious to the profoundly surprising.
Sounds good.
Let's knock out the obvious ones first. The first category I'd call the expected sins.
Right.
These are the things that almost every moral framework on earth agrees are bad. Item 5 talks about stealing, robbing, cheating, and taking bribes. Item 7 is about bullying, oppressing, and exploiting others.
We also see environmental and spiritual desecration in this category.
Yeah, that was interesting to see.
Item 18 condemns polluting the rivers, land, and air with chemical materials and waste. And item 10 talks about desecrating the greatest creator, saints, sages, ancestors, or even your own parents.
So direct, aggressive harms against others, the earth or the divine.
Exactly.
Sure, if you were mugging people in an alley or dumping toxic waste into a river, you probably aren't shocked to hear you might be on the devil's road.
I would hope not.
But the second category gets a lot more uncomfortable. These are what I'd call the interpersonal toxins. It's less about committing a literal crime and more about how you poison the social well around you.
This is where the philosophy starts diagnosing our internal psychological states.
Right.
Item 8 is about breaking promises and always finding excuses for your faults. Item 14 is about spreading gossip and rumors to ruin harmonious relationships.
And item 15 is brutal. It says you are on the road to devils if you are jealous of others' joy and happiness and you feel resentment at others' freedom and blessing.
Just simple envy.
Just envy. And item 17 says you're on the road if you're always making comparisons with others.
Which everyone does.
Think about what that means for your daily life. The last time you were doom scrolling on social media and felt a pang of jealousy looking at someone's vacation photos, according to this math, you were actively volunteering for the lower life orders.
And look closely at the second half of item 18. It pairs physical pollution with emotional pollution.
What do you mean?
It says you are walking the devil's road if you are polluting others' spirit and soul with a negative, passive, and pessimistic mood.
Wow.
Your bad mood, your general pessimism, is treated with the exact same severity as a factory dumping chemicals into a river.
So your bad vibes are literally environmental hazards on a spiritual level. That is intense.
Very intense.
I can see how that contributes to the negative energy of the universe, though. But as challenging as that is, the third category is the one that completely stopped me in my tracks.
The mundane items.
Yes, because this category takes the mundane building blocks of our lives and turns them into indictments. Let's look at items 1 through 4.
Okay, so item 1. You are in marriage and family, rushing about for your own family. Item 2. You are striving and struggling for your own country, nation, religion, political party, organization, or group.
Item 3 is about concentrating on making money and worrying about amassing wealth. And item 4 is racking your brain to win good fame or secure a high position for yourself.
Those are the big ones.
Wait, I'm stuck here. I have to push back on this. Striving for my country. Rushing about for my family.
Now it sounds backwards.
If I take on extra shifts at work to pay for my kids' college tuition, this worldview is classifying me as walking a demonic path. How is providing for my family or wanting a promotion at my job equivalent to robbing someone? How is love a cosmic sin?
It is an incredibly jarring inclusion, but your frustration is exactly the point.
It worked.
This raises an important question about what it actually means to be good within this specific cosmological framework. According to Xu Feng's logic, any attachment to earthly divisions breeds the selfishness that fuels the devil's zero-sum game.
Help me connect those dots. How does loving my family equal selfishness on a cosmic scale? Am I supposedly hoarding resources?
It goes back to the idea of the devil's program we discussed at the start. When you rush about solely for your family, you are inherently prioritizing them over other families.
Yeah, naturally.
When you strive for your country, you are doing so at the potential expense of another country. When you rack your brain for a high position, you are competing against someone else for that spot.
Ah,
The philosophy views all of these actions, even the ones we heavily romanticize, like nationalism or familial devotion, as forms of energetic hoarding. You are participating in a system of division.
I see. Because I'm drawing a line between us and them.
Precisely. You are focusing on the accumulation of wealth, status, or security for your specific in-group. And in a world with finite resources, that inherently requires taking energy or resources from the outgroup.
The zero-sum game again?
Exactly. That competition, that division, is the exact mechanism Satan uses to maintain his quota for the lower orders of life.
So by playing the game of society, even if you consider yourself a good person, you play by the rules, get married, get a job, support your community, you are running the devil's software. You are feeding the machine of opposites.
Exactly. By engaging in those structures, you are volunteering for the zero-sum game, which means you are subject to its consequences. You are generating the friction that keeps the negative energy flowing.
Having diagnosed the problem and, having gone through the symptoms on this incredibly strict 18-point checklist, what is the ultimate cure?
That's the logical next step.
If you are listening to this and realizing you check a few of these boxes, and let's be totally honest, practically every human being alive checks at least one, what does this framework say we should actually do?
The philosophy offers a single, very urgent solution. It says if you find yourself on this road, you need to wake up, realize your mistakes, and rein in at the brink of the precipice before it is too late.
And then what?
And then it gives a clear directive. Turn back, walk on the road to heaven, and follow the way of the greatest creator.
So what does this all mean? If we step back and look at everything we've unpacked today in this deep dive, the core takeaway for you, the listener, is a radical redefinition of peace.
Yes, a total shift in perspective.
True peace, according to this philosophy, cannot be found by succeeding within the systems of the world. It requires radically detaching from the artificial competitions of society.
Detaching from the program.
Right. Whether that's corporate ambition, nationalistic pride, the intense focus on elevating your own family above others, or even just indulging in everyday jealousy and pessimism on social media.
Which is easier said than done.
Definitely. But to escape the devil's program, you have to stop playing the devil's game. You have to opt out of the zero-sum math entirely.
And there is one final detail in this cosmology that I think really drives the stakes of this cosmic math home.
Oh, what's that?
Well, Zhu Feng explicitly states that the life at the lower order must serve the life at a higher order, just as plants and animals provide for human survival.
Right, the cosmic food chain.
Exactly. The philosophy also clearly warns that the devil's road leads you directly to that lower order of life. So as you go about your week, chasing that promotion or arguing over politics online or stressing about your social status, you have to ask yourself one thing. If you're unwittingly volunteering to be downgraded in the cosmic food chain, if you're volunteering for that lower spot, who or what is ultimately going to be feeding on you?